Fistful of sandwich. And
That'll be the title of this episode.
What? Eat the sandwich, watch the podcast?
Made a sandwich, watch the podcast.
Well, no, eat the sandwich, watch
Eat
the podcast.
Okay.
Eat a sandwich.
And then have a picture of the hamburger crab?
No, that's a living thing, Andy. Don't be evil.
It looks edible, though.
Most living things are.
Yeah. In your opinion, how much of success would you say is confidence, skill, and luck?
Run that by me again?
How much of success is confidence, skill, and luck?
50, 30, 20.
And that, so 50% confidence?
Whichever order you want them in. I don't know. Confidence, what? And
skill.
Bribery?
Yeah.
Bribery should be on the list.
Bribery?
Confidence, skill, and...
I think bribery would go under a skill.
Is it a skill?
Yeah.
I guess you could bribe someone badly.
Yeah. It
I
could
got
go wrong.
$5 in coupons.
You could also be trying to bribe somebody who could
not get you anything?
Not get you anything and throw you in jail or something.
That is, yeah, you got to practice your bribery.
I mean, if you
practice your bribery, kids.
If we're bribing police officers, we want to know which police officer will take the bribe.
Yeah, so you got to ask them nicely. Just, officer, I'm not implying that you would, but do you know any of your coworkers who would, or do you suspect of taking bribes?
Yeah, and in order to get that information out of him, you better be very skillful in your communication.
Yeah. Here's $50. Tell me who on your team will take bribes. I don't know. I feel like it's random for everybody. Not random, but like a random different percentage for those three for everybody. Some people probably get by on confidence with not a lot of skill, and some people probably get by with a lot of skill and not a lot of well, I don't know, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like if you
stare at people.
I feel like if you have a lot of skill and no confidence, you're not going anywhere.
Well, you got to get paired up with somebody who has all the confidence.
That's true. So you have to partner up.
I think that applies to everybody anyway.
Well, who's gonna?
Okay, fine. 100% of all of them.
Who's gonna partner up with somebody who has no confidence?
I don't even remember what the third one was.
Luck.
Luck? Oh. Well, that luck is first. Luck is the most important.
I think
there's a lot of people with a lot of confidence and a lot of skill who don't get anywhere.
Like who?
I don't know, because they didn't get anywhere.
I don't know. I feel like confidence is definitely key. You have to be willing to put yourself out there.
So you think if you have confidence and skill, it's guaranteed that you will be successful?
Absolutely.
Well.
Because you're not going to give up.
I'm going to find the exception and bring him here.
All right.
Tell him how your life went.
All right. But he's got to be packed full of... He might be really confident, but he's got to be packed full of skill,
Well, I guess at this point he wouldn't be that confident because his life already fell apart.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of bit me in the ass there. Trust me, he was really confident.
Okay. One of the questions Gary's asked is, how long is too long for an entrepreneur to stay at one job?
How long is too long for an entrepreneur to stay at one job?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the definition of an entrepreneur? Someone who just pursues making money lots of different ways?
I'll read the notes I took.
You don't just... Oh, we can't look it up.
I can't look it up. So
how do you spell entrepreneur? Don't look at it.
I can't tell you because I spelled it wrong. I spelled it so horribly the computer didn't even know what I was trying to spell.
That's the worst feeling ever.
So Gary goes on about, if you work at a job, you are not an entrepreneur.
Okay, fair enough.
Being an entrepreneur is somebody who doesn't even have the ability to have ever had a job. And then at the very end, he says, my definition should not be yours.
So, he's wrong about everything he just said then.
Well, he's saying
his opinion is not mine.
It's
that's his opinion, but shit, that's what he wants.
But I think the question is really asking you, how long are you going to stay
I think the question
at your day job?
The question is just a kick in the ass.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't know, I still think that's that important. I mean, like, if you're still growing your business or whatever you're trying to do, and you have financial security in the meantime, you should use that to your advantage. We've talked about that before.
Right.
Like, I don't think, I mean, if all of a sudden you're bringing in more money at your, whatever you're aspiring to do.
I feel like it'll be obvious when it's time.
Yeah. Like,
It'd be pretty fucking obvious. Yeah. Like, okay.
You'll start getting a little more cocky at work. You start telling your supervisors off a little bit more. Just, fuck you. I make way more money than you at my other job anyway. Why am I even doing this piece of shit? Oh, that's right. I should leave.
Yeah. I was going to say more of like when you get to a point where, well, first of all, you're either making enough to support yourself or more than what you are at your day job.
But there, I guess, suppose there are career fields that probably require a blind leap of faith. Sell your shit and get on the next bus to LA.
Well, in Gary's definition,
start laying pipe for $10.
What he's trying to say is,
I mean dick, by the way, not actual pipe.
Like an entrepreneur, or a true entrepreneur in his eyes would be somebody who, provides for himself from the very beginning. Like he puts himself in that corner to a point where he has to do something. Nobody's going to give it to him.
That's one mindset that probably would work for a lot of people. I mean, I don't think a true entrepreneur is just somebody who makes money in different ways. At least more than two. I don't know. I'm sure if there's a definition, we can look it up.
Entrepreneur. I guess I should have wrote down that definition, but I imagine it's a business owner. Entrepreneur.
It's like when someone says a real man does
when you make
this.
your own job.
That's
it's not working for somebody else.
That's toxic entrepreneurism right there.
What is?
Whatever he said.
Oh.
Because he's saying if you don't do this, you're not a true entrepreneur. That's toxic entrepreneurialism.
That's why at the end he says my definition should not be yours.
To cover his ass.
To cover his ass. That's the trick. You gotta cover your ass. But yeah, I'm not gonna leave my day job until it's obvious that no longer need. Plus, at the same time,
insurance.
The difference, yeah. There's a difference between me and you though, but like you have your day job and it's specifically, helping you do your passion project, and I have my day job where I'm also trying to pursue.
And it's kind of within
a career.
Because you have to do that to get to you want to do sales, right?
I'm pursuing a career in my day job and then also doing a passion project on the side. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. You're better than me.
I'm not saying that either.
I'm saying it.
Actually, according from Gary's perspective, what you're doing would be better.
Fuck Gary. What's he know?
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about real life, right? This isn't social media.
One example is like if you want to be an entrepreneur and you have to have, some sort of financial security or whatever, a real one would be the guy who works at 7-Eleven third shift and then does his projects during the day until it's big enough for him to quit the 7-Eleven job.
I just think as long as you're doing something, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is all geared towards the person who works, at 7-Eleven at night, works at a different gas station during the day, and then dreams about the things he wants to do while he's trying to go to sleep between his jobs. You know what I mean? Who has a passion, who has something he wants to do or accomplish, but isn't, or at least talks about it.
I think
if you're taking steps and doing something, you got my vote.
Yeah, I wanted to bring in pressure though.
I mean, sure.
If you can utilize pressure as a motivation, putting yourself in the true, from Gary's perspective, a true entrepreneur's position, it could help motivate you to do the things that you would just dream about otherwise. I feel like myself, if I'm in a real pressure situation, I've done things that I don't think I would have done. Good things.
Yeah.
Well, probably in bad things too.
There are probably things you wanted to do, have already thought about, and then whatever happened was with the trigger moment, like, okay, I have to do that. It's not you can't. Those things
that's the
spot,
pressure,
right?
though. Well, let's talk. I'll bring up my high school story then, because I was put under a lot of...
Okay.
The reason why I dropped out is mainly because of pressure. Kind of self-imposed, though. But anyways,
Okay.
the reason I didn't drop out because I hated school. I dropped out because I didn't have a choice to graduate on time. Because my goal was that I wanted to graduate or get my diploma the year that I was supposed to.
Right.
And obviously I put myself in a situation to where I really couldn't by not passing these classes. But then our school started that HSED program. And did you try to get into that?
I didn't know they had one. I thought you did. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I did an A&D State or HSED
I thought you
program.
went the same route as the chick who was homeschooled up the road at the teen center. Because she graduated, but it was like you had to pay for a test. It was, you got a diploma, but you didn't have to do it at school. I thought you went that route, but I don't know. I dropped out and just got my HSED.
Yeah. So
Because they were just like, do you got 2 credits of health and physics? I'm like, yeah, I got those at least.
yeah, that's all you need to get.
All
to
right,
HSED.
then you were officially
That's
better.
the difference between HSED and
You
a
were
GED.
officially better than a loser with a GED. Here's your HSED.
So they had just started. Uh-oh.
We dying?
I don't know why. Okay. So our high school had developed this program that they called the HSED program, and what you would do is you'd go like a half day or whatever, and you'd sit in a room with the other people, and you'd prep for the HSED tests, and then when you were through the prep period, you would go to Marine Park, and then you would take them. But the difference is that Dodgen would then sign that HSED instead of Marine Park, and then you could go through graduation with your class.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I didn't know about that.
In order to get into that, you had to be accepted. So I'm in a situation where, like, all right, I'm probably not going to graduate on time. I'm going to see what this program's all about. So I set up a meeting, and it's like a board meeting. It's like all the people that are running this program, right? So they sat me in a room like this, but with a longer table. And I'm sitting on one side by myself, and then it's like 5 other people over there, and they're trying to sell me on how this program works. And one of the big things is you can have a job while you do this program because the hours aren't a full school day, right? And at this time, I have a job, so I'm like, oh, sweet. And I really latch onto this. And then they get into the details, and they're like, yeah, the hours are from 1 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then I decide that those aren't good hours. And I argue with the board on how 1 to 5 p.m. is between first and second shift hours. And so the only job I could work is a third shift job.
So it's not even like that won't work for me. It's just, why the fuck are you doing it that way?
Yeah. Why don't you either do it in the morning or in the evening, and
Just change everything.
Change your program to benefit me because I start work at 3:30
They
p.m.
probably went, the ball's on this kid. Give him what he wants.
Yeah.
I like his gusta.
Well, so I started working at 3:30 p.m. At the restaurant I was at, so I was really pushing this argument or whatever. And so I go on about that, and they basically tell me, no, we're not going to change our hours. This is the only available. This is how we're going to do it. And I go, all right, screw you guys.
Okay.
I'm going to figure out how to graduate the old-fashioned way. And so then I go and I talk to the counselor. I'm like, all right, so what is it going to take for me to graduate on time? And so now I have like a loaded schedule, and it's basically all English classes because that's the only class I failed. But every time. It's like freshman year I failed freshman.
Yeah, no, same here.
And then sophomore year I failed freshman and sophomore. And then junior year I failed freshman, sophomore, and junior. So that was during my sophomore year. And so I try to do it the old-fashioned way and load up my schedule, whatever. And then the end of junior year comes around, and I'm like, yeah, this probably isn't gonna work. What the fuck?
I can't handle this much beauty for that long. Yep, take a picture. It'll last longer.
That's gonna really make editing a bitch. Phone's fucking dead, Adam. You're not getting a cross shot.
Move mine.
What the fuck? Technical difficulty. Why? Oh, size?
Oh, you're out of storage space? You're gonna like edit this part out, right? So we can have like a cigarette.
I know, totally.
I mean, I guess we can just wrap it up, or not wrap it up, but finish it up if you want. How long have you been recording for? Oh. Yeah, it's a good story. Find out next time. Unabridged Waters. Might have to invest in some actual cameras.
I don't even really have that much on.
All right.
And then I'll just use that shot for it. So where was I? Where was I? So I worked at a restaurant and I started at 3:30 p.m. and that pissed me off. So they basically said no. Okay, yeah, okay. So let's skip up. So at the end of junior year, and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna work out because I still failed English classes. So the summer of junior year, I move out of my aunt and uncle's house, and by that I mean I ran away. And then and the reason why I did that was because I was out like playing poker with some friends or whatever one night while my aunt and uncle weren't home, and I was supposed to be at home to let the dogs out. And then I was under the impression that they were going to be staying the night at the casino, and then they came home early, and then they called me, and they were really upset. Well, my aunt was anyways, because I guess the dogs were not let outside. And so they told me to give them my cell phone and the keys to my car. And so to get back at them, I deleted all the contacts and messages on my phone and set my phone and the keys to my car on the kitchen table and packed a bag and had the friend that I was with pick me up and take me to his place, right? And then a couple weeks later, I'm driving around in Green Bay and we get pulled over and I've been called in as a runaway. So then the cop...
But you were over 18 at that time,
No,
weren't you?
I'm still 17. This is junior year summer.
Oh.
So then the cop contacts my aunt and they meet her like halfway or whatever, and she picks me up and she goes, "Where are you staying?" And I tell her at this friend's house, and she's like, "All right, that's where I'm taking you." I said, "Okay." And she goes, like, "By the way, you can get your car when you're 18. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So then the beginning of senior year, I'm like, fuck. I'm like on my own, right? I need to be working.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have to try to get in this HSED program and make it work. If I have to get a third shift job, that's what I'll do, right? So then I go, all right, can I have another meeting to get into this program? And they straight up tell me no. No, you can't. So
are you the guy who argued about the time slot?
So then I go back to the
Yeah,
counselor.
you made a great impression.
I go back to the counselor, and I'm like, so what are my options? And she goes,
At this whole time, you're communicating with the Dodgeland people, though, right?
yeah.
So that's the problem.
So then she goes, your options are to come back next year for a semester.
Fuck you.
With a loaded up schedule. And then I go, that's unacceptable because my goal is to get my diploma when my class graduates or prior. And so then that's when I decided, because I have an early 18th birthday, that I was going to drop out when I was 18 and then go to Marine Park and do the HSED.
Which you got done in like a month, right?
Well, a funny story with that is, well, actually, when I turned 18, we had a new principal that year. I turned 18, and I came in like a half hour early before anybody was there.
At Dodgeland?
Yeah, and I walk into the counselor's office, and I'm like, all right, I'm dropping out today. I turned 18. This is the route I'm going to go. And she goes, okay, and she hands me the papers, and then the principal walks in, and he's like, hey, what's going on here? It's first year. We're like 3 weeks into the school year because I haven't.
Oh, is that Mr. fucking Brown?
Yeah.
With his big. Dude, that motherfucker would eat a half a loaf of bread at lunchtime. Like, he'd just be standing there monitoring, just eating bread. Just pieces of fucking bread. He'd have like a stack of like 6 pieces.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
he comes up to me and he's like, what are you doing? And I go, I'm dropping out. And he goes, oh, well, I want you to have your aunt sign off that you can drop out. And I go, I don't live with her anymore, and I'm 18. And he's like, nah, this is what you got to do. And I could have argued this point, but I'm just like, fuck it. So then I get back, I take his permission slip to drop out, and I drive back to my aunt's house, whom I hadn't even really spoken to since I left earlier that summer. And I go, hey, I'm dropping out. I need you to sign these papers. And she goes, okay. And then I get him signed, I come back, and I give him the papers, and I clear all my shit out, and then I immediately go to Marine Park and start with the HSED program. That goes really quick. I get accepted in right away, right? I go.
They literally asked me when I called to do it. They were like, do you want to do the speedball course? You can have the entire thing done and over with in less than a month.
Yeah.
But I was like, kind of like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, so let's not do that. Let's go through this like each little class thing. But
I had to go through some of their bullshit.
the fucking career builder stuff.
Yeah, to do that.
Which is like, are the only people who get their HS or GEDs or HSEDs, like none of them are in their 30s or 40s or already have, like, you know what I mean? Like, they make 50-year-old people who have to get their GED for work sit down and figure out what they want to be when they grow up.
Yeah,
like,
or how to interview properly.
The stupidest fucking thing ever. Anyway, sorry.
By the way, though, I feel like that class should be taught in high schools. Like,
it was called home economics.
Oh, that was a great
I
class.
love when people bitch about things that they should have taught in high school, and I'm like, it was home ec. They did that. You just didn't go to that. You didn't do that class.
Okay. So I had to do that, and then they make you take one practice test or whatever. But then, so there's 5 tests, and you only can take 3. You're only, for me anyways, you could only take 3 in one day, and you had to come back for the other 2. So I took 3 in one day, and then I have like scheduled to take the other 2 a couple weeks later. So we're in like October, November-ish, whatever. I go in to take my final 2, and I'm sitting down, and the lady comes up to me. I'm like taking the test, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, how old are you? I go, I'm 18. And she goes, has your class graduated yet? No. When's your birthday? September. You can't get your HSED unless you're 18 and a half or your class is graduated.
What?
So I go, well, I'm already taking my last 2 tests. And she goes, yeah, you can go ahead and finish your tests, but they're not going to be graded until you're 18 and a half.
What if the information changes?
So you won't.
They figure out some new stuff about science, and it turns out those answers aren't right anymore.
So, yeah, so I won't know if I failed those tests or if I am going to get my HSED until March of the following year. Just so happened that I passed and it was fine, so I ended up getting my diploma still prior before my class graduating. But
They tried to put you through some bullshit.
I had quite a few loops to jump through. Some of them were because of myself, and others were opposed by other people.
But the whole HSED through the school bullshit is just them desperately trying to get you to like for it to not fuck up their numbers. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like,
but
and it's way more complicated. I guarantee if you'd gone that route, it would have been way harder than just going to Moraine Park and here, take a test, read this passage, answer these questions.
it's just like a state test, yeah. But
it's just that it was the easiest shit. I'm like, why were there practice tests for this? The practice tests were harder than the actual questions on the fucking test you're giving me
it's like
now.
an 8th grade level, anyways. I mean,
it was the
you're
only
not
thing
meant to fail those tests.
I gathered that. Like, what is the build up for?
Yeah.
But I get the speedball course now, but and I guarantee if you go on the Dodgerland route, they probably would have. I don't know.
Well,
Would have been a lot more work.
I was
no
sad though because
reason.
I did want to graduate with my class, and even if that program may have been meant to lower their dropout numbers, but even still, obviously not enough for them to make it work for me. I mean, they literally told me no just because my first interview I bitched them out a little bit.
That's true. Probably because they're like, ah, fuck, this guy seems like he's not totally stupid. I don't know if he's what we want here.
I would like to.
Ah, God damn it, he's thinking for himself. Get him out of here. We don't want him. He's not
Yeah.
our kind.
I'd be happy if that was the reason.
Probably.
But so that's that story. And what was I trying to do?
Oh, wrap this bitch up.
No.
Well, we're out of mics, so.
I don't know. There was a point I was trying to make, but I don't remember anymore. But that's my high school story, and that's why I dropped out.
Want to hear mine quick?
Yeah.
It's not as long. So, 'cause my 18th birthday happened in August between the summer between freshman and
Wow.
junior and senior year.
Oh, okay.
So, and they had that same conversation with me, like you can either do an extra year or there's this yada 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 with computers, and you do this and that. The was it E2020 or something like that?
I didn't even have that option.
They said some stuff and it all sounded bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I don't know. I said, okay, whatever. I don't know. I'll think about it. I didn't really give him an answer.
Yeah.
And then summer break came. Then it went. And then it's the first day of school, and I'm up and I'm awake, and I'm like dressed. Like, am I going to school today? Am I not going to school today? I guess I can just not go today and figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I just ended up not going back. And then after like 14 days, they called me and they're like, "Hey, are you coming back?" And I was like, "Oh, no."
Well, couldn't they file truants against you at that point?
No, I was 18 at that point.
Well, yeah, so then they'd go to you then.
I don't know how it works. They called me and they're like, "You coming back?" And I was like, "Nah." And they were like, "Okay, well, you got to come in and like drop out." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." So I did that.
So you had to sign the papers.
Yeah, and then I was, who was it? Dornfeld.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the guy at the time, and he's like, "You have to write a thing saying that you quit."
What? I didn't have to do that.
So he just pulled up his computer for me, and I just typed in, "I quit." And he's like, "No, you have to write, like, I don't know, something." I just made it more formal. Just I, Adam Berg.
Yeah. I did not have to do that.
No.
I just had to get the papers signed.
Yeah, none of these fucking people know what they're doing. They're just winging it as they go. Start just trying to leave. Did you do the dance of removal?
Yeah. You have to wear this costume.
You
and
didn't
come
roll a
into-
9. You have to go back 3 grades.
Yeah. But that was a year after me, though, right?
Yeah.
So
So I got some time had passed.
so I do it, and then the following year, they're like, nah, now we're going to make him write a letter of resignation.
Yeah. Which I literally was just like, it was 2 sentences. Just I, Adam Berg, am not coming back to school here.
Interesting. Although I have heard that years later, they did like make that program more accessible. And then also, like as far as the reason why I kept failing those English classes was because I refused to read the books. And without reading the books, you can't pass any of the tests.
Which is ironic, because a lot of those books I'm going back and at least listening to an Audible of my
exactly.
own free will now.
Yeah. But apparently now
Like, oh, this is pretty interesting.
the teachers can pass you based off of your competency. So like back then, I mean, I was obviously reading and could had readers retention. Like I could talk about what I read or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if I were going to school now, they would have just passed me, and like none of this would have been an issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, okay, you're lazy,
competent.
you're lazy, but
Yeah.
you're none of this is lost on you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I like to think that was because of me. This is probably more
Hey, we
like
got a lot of smart motherfuckers just kind of blowing
dropping
this shit
out.
off.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Davin's brother like work really hard to get a 0.0 GPA?
Well, that's a good story for Davin to tell, but yeah, there's a whole saga to.
I just know that he like it was actually kind of difficult because you can get participation points if you look like you're paying attention. So you have to make it obvious that you're not paying attention. Just nope. None of this is going in.
That's a totally different ball game what that kid played. Yeah, I don't. It'd be really cool to have Davin on to tell that story.
Or at least
though.
like call him up and have him tell the story and like record it or something.
I'm not sure he would. I think we have to have Davin do it.
Then have Davin do it.
Yeah, Davin.
I don't know. I looked at that camera that's facing at you. Mine might be dead, so
Yeah, yours is dead.
I'll look over here.
All right, Adam, let's wrap this up.
Let's do it.
Thanks for coming in.
was an honor.
And thanks for everybody watching. Look up Adam Berg on Offbeat Artworks. All the links and descriptions, all the links will be in the description. And we'll see everybody next time. Goodbye.